Drop it on the random.
What up, y'all? This is your host, Vegas of Hip Hop Now podcast. We're going to be doing a rebranding of sorts, stepping things up for all the people who have supported the podcast over the years, provided more content, different content, and improving the quality, but we can only do that with your help. So I did what any content creator would do who has a loyal fan base. I created a Patreon. Today and going forward, you can support this very podcast by going over to patreon.com/hiphopnow. Don't worry, the link is in the description. You click it, you go there. There's 3 tiers of ways you can support. You can be a one-time supporter or you can be a monthly supporter. Let's keep it going in 2020 and beyond by visiting patreon.com/hiphopnow. Coming up on this week's episode of Hip Hop Now podcast, Lil Wayne is really number one in hip hop. Wait for it. A couple of dudes pretend to be Wu-tang Clan and get away with it for a while. And a new Tupac movie is coming out that claims Tupac is alive and living in Mexico.
My cousin. What's up, cousin? How you doing, boy? Cousin! What's up, cousin? What's up?
Let's get right to the business. Read these headlines. This album must be gone. This album must be gone. Classic album. Classic album. Come to Hip Hop Podcast. What up, y'all? I am your host, Vegas, and this is Hip Hop Now Podcast, a podcast designed to catch you up on all things hip hop, music, and culture that happened throughout the week. Returning listeners, I do appreciate you. Glad you came back. Glad you left a couple of comments in the comments section of wherever you listen to this podcast. And new listeners, I'm happy that you have found me on whatever podcast you listen to. I mean, not whatever podcast you listen to this podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts, because this podcast, Hip Hop Now Podcast, is available wherever you listen to podcasts. Quick shout out, though, to a couple of people who reviewed this podcast over the last couple of years on Apple Podcasts. Now, if you're an iPhone user, iOS user, Mac user, and this is how you listen to podcasts, and this is how you listen to this podcast, please go ahead, leave a review, rate this podcast. Right now, I'm batting 100 or whatever it is. Sorry, I've been drinking a little Henny. But whatever the case is, I got 5 stars, and I definitely appreciate that. But, it's feedback. So definitely leave reviews. People read reviews, and it tells people that this podcast is worth your time. And I appreciate everyone who took the time out to review this podcast on Apple Podcasts. Big shout out to hiphopdx.com, allhiphop.com, Ambrosia for Heads, djbooth.net, and a couple of places where I'm getting some of these stories from. Let's get right into the business, though. Wiz Khalifa put out a brand new mixtape. I believe it's like 5 joints. It's Wiz Khalifa rhyming over some 80s tracks, but he's also rhyming over some 90s tracks. Now, let me tell you what it is exactly. He's rhyming over 80s R&B/soul records, which I know sounds kind of crazy, but he loved to smoke. And when it comes to hip hop, he's rhyming over 90s classics like Mobb Deep's Survival of the Fittest. That didn't work out too well, but I think, like with Currency, when it comes to Wiz Khalifa, they have a specific set of fans. They have a specific sound that they like to, of music they like to put out. So it's never really about lyrical content and trying to meet the standards of whomever it was that, record they was rhyming over, in this case, hip hop artists. So you can't look at Mobb Deep Survival of the Fittest and say, well, did he do the lyrics on his mixtape any justice? It's totally different. Now, I will say this. 2 Chainz, maybe a year or two ago, did something very similar with Into the 36 Chambers. As a matter of fact, I got it on my phone right now. Let me get it real quick. I wasn't prepared. This is live radio for y'all. The name of the Wiz Khalifa album, by the way, it's Only Weed, Bro. So far, it's cool. I only listened to some of it, so I can't really recommend one way or another. But the 2 Chainz joint is a Wu-Tang Clan and 2 Chainz mashup, meaning 2 Chainz is rapping over Into the 36 Chambers style beats, Wu-Tang beats. But this mixtape is called Wu Chainz 36 Trap Houses. And when I tell you, I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I know there's a lot of, old heads that listen to me, and some of y'all not open to anybody, desecrating your favorite classic albums. And I'm with you in some respects. But when somebody does something dope, I gotta give it up. Elzai did Elmatic. It was crazy. One of the best mixtapes or renditions or covers or whatever you want to call it. Not really a cover because he had his own lyrics. But 2 Chainz did that joint justice. So check it out. Wiz Khalifa joint. The jury's still out. Netflix is reportedly in talks with Nipsey Hussle's Marathon's films. See, Nipsey even had Marathon Films to stream a documentary that was done about the rapper. Supposedly, Netflix is in negotiations with Rock Nation and a couple of people over there to just try to get this out. I think, first of all, we know Nipsey been working. We know he been working, okay? We know he was working just like Kobe was working. Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. Rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle. So it is no surprise of mine that this would be out here like this. So I am absolutely looking forward to it. Drake is bringing battle rap, Ultimate Rap League. Battle rap fans know it as URL. Battle rap fans know smack. Battle rap fans, I didn't even have to say any of that. All I gotta say is hold it down, hold it down, hold it down, hold it down, and you know what I'm talking about. But Drake is bringing this ultimate URL to the caffeine streaming platform, meaning there's going to be way more eyes on battle rap. And I think I love this. And let me tell you why. I did a podcast probably 2 years ago. Forget the title, but I think I was saying is battle rap dead? And mostly that had nothing to do with lyrics or competition or any of that. It just had more to do with the rise of battle rap. Like it got really big at one point and everybody had their own league. And then it felt like it came back down to earth. And usually when something gets that big with its television shows and contracts and blah, 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 and pay-per-view events and celebrities all involved, if it don't pop, it's usually done. But battle rap just went back to doing what they usually do. And I think that was dope. I actually commend a lot of the battle rap leagues for maintaining, because again, I say it again, when things become extremely popular, especially on a pop level, everybody's excited. Everybody want to know every battle rap. Everybody want to debate battle rap and all of that. And when they don't really pop mainstream, it takes a lot of hits. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't come back and people kind of just go their separate ways or whatever. Those who are making their money, make their money. Those who aren't, go do whatever else they were going to do. But to see this, I got to salute Drake for finding a way to keep that part of the culture alive. Not saying he's doing it all by himself, but again, when you have someone, there's no one in the whole culture of battle rap bigger than Drake. And I'm not talking about bars. I'm just talking about popularity. We all know this, right? So for him to say, because he doesn't have to do this, because battle rap is not what it was on a mainstream level a couple of years ago. For him to do this just says he enjoys battle rap. And well, we know this because he keeps trying to battle everybody. So salute to Drake. I mean, it's the same type of props I give to Eminem, where these are things where these guys are so big, they don't have to do anything for anyone. They are not gaining any. Drake is not gaining anything, except for ghostwriters, by looking out in this way. He doesn't have to do it. I don't think anyone else was interested in doing it, but he did. So props to him. Now, here's a story that I saw on hiphopdx.com. The title of the story reads this: New Tupac movie claims he's alive and hiding in New Mexico. We're going to read some of this. A new movie called Tupac, The Great Escape from UMC claims the hip-hop luminary is alive, well, and hiding somewhere in New Mexico. According to ABC affiliate KTNV, filmmaker Rick Boss, this just keeps, I'm going to keep going. Rick Boss is exploring the possibility Tupac spent 6 days at the University Medical Center in Las Vegas and somehow managed to escape undetected. Ooh, let's just get a quote in there. This movie is about Tupac actually escaping from University Medical Center here in Vegas and relocating to New Mexico, says Rick Boss. Getting protection from the Navajo tribe. Wow. What do y'all think? I know I always say what I think, but what do y'all think? Please leave your comments in the comment section wherever you listen to this podcast, because I listen everywhere. Is Tupac alive or gone? Is this movie trying to capitalize off the legacy of Tupac? I mean, obviously, I'm sure they had to pay someone in order to even do something like this. But for real, do we really believe this? Is this Suge Knight Jr.? Is this your movie? Let's keep it moving. Lil Wayne has more top 40 Billboard Hot 100 hits than Elvis Presley, the Beatles, and Eminem. Now, when I started this podcast, y'all heard me say Lil Wayne is actually number one. No, I didn't mean it like that. I meant it in a way that there's this narrative about Eminem that I kind of subscribe to myself. I confront, I read the headlines. I don't follow sales and hip hop as much, but I peek and poke here and there and look. And Eminem was just notoriously, would drop an album and do numbers. Notoriously. It didn't matter how many albums, didn't matter how we felt about the albums. He was always doing numbers. And to me, it started to add up like, man, he got to be the number one selling hip hop artist of all time. But that's kind of like albums. And he has singles, sure, that also have done well. But I'm pretty sure this Lil Wayne ranking mostly comes from the fact that Lil Wayne has had more hits than Eminem. So he's had more songs chart than Eminem and Elvis Presley and the Beatles. And that makes a lot of sense because you got to understand, Lil Wayne was popping with the Hot Boys, right? Late 90s. So he's already charting there, whether he's a part of a group or if he's a soloist with The Block Is Hot and all that, right? Then he starts to really get into his solo career a little bit more with the Carter series and, Go DJ, and a couple of other records are hitting the charts. And then the Carter 3, forget about it. Forget about the collaborations. Forget about, Stunting Like My Daddy. Lil Wayne has been on a lot of records, a lot of hit radio records. Solo, features, everything. So it's quite understandable when you step back and look at it and you say, well, damn, well, yeah. Because when I look at it, like, yeah, they're not naming Jay-Z or Nas or any of these older rappers who are still in the game. Sure, they have hits also, but I think the point is the fact that Lil Wayne has just been at the top as far as songs and the features or whatever for a very long time. Like, this isn't nothing new for him. Whereas with somebody like Nas, sure, it was written, came out years ago, but it did take him a while to get there. You know what I'm saying? To start charting like that. And not all of his records become huge hits. Same thing with Jay-Z. But with Lil Wayne, and not just that, sure, of course, a lot of Jay-Z and Nas's records were hits. The point is Lil Wayne was putting in more work. And the more he did, like, he would just have records that would chart. So, even though someone like a Jay-Z and a Nas may have possibly more albums, I think, not sure. I think so. Lil Wayne has just existed as a popular artist, extremely popular, let me say that, in different decades and different eras of hip hop. Let me say that. Now, again, you can go ahead and say, well, Jay-Z had hits and different, and Nas did too. Yeah, sort of, kind of, I feel you. But at the same time, I think the thing that I'm pulling away and I'm trying to get at here is Lil Wayne probably peaked 2 or 3 times in his career. Nas did it twice. I don't think Jay-Z ever really like fell out a lot. You know what I'm saying? I think he always kind of stayed towards the top of people's anticipation and stuff like that with his music. So Jay-Z feels more like he was more consistent. Like, you didn't feel, I know some people don't like newer Jay-Z albums, that's fine. But to me, Jay-Z never got to that point of, I think he fell off. You know what I'm saying? You may not like an album, but I never felt like it was the end. Nas, after Nostradamus and Jay-Z's takeover, I was like, I think this is the end. And then Stillmatic happened. And then Nas slowly started to get back to disappointing album after disappointing album after disappointing album. Dope records here and there. And then we get something like Life is Good. And he's back again. You know what I'm saying? But whereas Lil Wayne was like on fire with the Hot Boys, on fire as a soloist in the very beginning before the Carter series, then he ascended with the Carter series and Young Money, and I bet you a lot of those hits also came from that era. And then in recent years, he's been able to put out more music and have the Swiss Beats record. You know what I'm saying? So Lil Wayne is kind of, when you really start to look at the totality of his career and his hits, I gotta admit, like, I honestly would have never saw that coming from Lil Wayne as a soloist. I would have never saw that. You know what I'm saying? But it happened. Now, every year, the Roots have what they call the Roots Picnic, which is like this big concert in Philly. This big showcase they put on with a number of acts. And I remember last year looking at the lineup and feeling like, and probably the last 2 years, and feeling like this lineup's kind of weak. I think last year I just called it straight up trash. Not this year. They making up for the last 5 years, whether they were good or not. The Roots Picnic happens in Philadelphia at the Man at Fairmont Park. This is not an advertisement, by the way, so don't get happy. But it's hip hop, so I don't mind promoting it for the brothers. But this is who's featured It's not just hip hop, but I think it's this range of people that gets me like excited. I might go. Meek Mill, The Baby, Thundercat, The Roots, of course, Music Soul Child, SWV, Brandy. Those are big R&B acts, right? Elliot Wilson is going to do the Crown, his Crown series. Griselda Records is going to be there. J Period's live mixtape with Black Thought. Raekwon and Ghostface will be there. Questlove is going to do his podcast out there, which I heard is popular as well. And that's not even everything. That's just some of the things I chose to highlight. Now, sure, this is a hip hop podcast. It's not hip hop down from head to toe. I get it. But for a music fan, and even if you're a hip hop fan, right? Let's say you just like Griselda. You can go there for Griselda, but Ray and Ghost is also there. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you like The Baby and Meek Mill also. So to me, it's just kind of like really worth checking that out for people in the area or for people who don't mind traveling and just want to go see a dope concert, you know, with some of their favorite rappers. Now, I saw a picture online. I think it was a video, but I decided not to really read it at all. I just kind of read the comments. And I saw a couple people going in because it's Big Sean and Nas in a photo. And people are groaning like, oh, first he did the Lil Nas X. Now he here with Big Sean. Just Nas is just falling off again. It's trash. And I just kind of kept it moving because I'm like, really, it doesn't mean anything. These artists record together all of the time. You know how many times I've heard somebody like Kanye say he got a whole album with Migos. He got a whole album with this person. I mean, hell, Lil Wayne and Sean Price did a whole album together. So there are plenty of people who are just sitting on dream projects, dream collaborations, just sitting in a vault somewhere. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that Nas is recording with someone like Big Sean, you know. And I really think it's probably something that's probably on Big Sean's album because I feel like that's what's coming. But that's not what the word on the street is saying. This is on hiphopdx.com, so you can check it out. In a video clip making the rounds online, Sean, Big Sean to y'all, begins filming the hip-hop legend, who is Nas, and says, by the way, Nas dropping an album. Hey, I'm putting Nas on blast right now. You finna drop? Nas replies, something like that, and then the two of them explode in laughter. Now, I'm gonna just keep it 100 with y'all. I don't believe it. There's no way, and if I'm wrong, then I'm afraid, but there's no way that Nas is putting out this much material in this short span of time. Now, anything's possible, but I'm only saying that because usually it's not good. And I don't know why that is. I don't know if some things are rushed, but I feel like Nas is at his best when he goes away for a little bit as an artist, and then he comes back with a project maybe 2 years from there. Now, he doesn't have to. I mean, I feel like any hip-hop fan, well, why not? Why wait? I used to hate waiting. Now I don't have to wait for more new Nas. Why not? I don't believe it. I don't believe it, y'all. The whole laughing, the whole putting you on blast, I don't believe it. I'll believe it when I see it. I hope it's something that I'm not even expecting, and I don't mean a Nas and Big Sean collaborative album. Who knows? I might like it. Maybe I won't. Who knows? And lastly, there was a group of dudes who are currently being accused of $100,000 luxury hotel scam. Now, what was the scam? Well, this duo posed as members of the Wu-Tang Clan. Now, the first thing I did was look at the photos. Because if you're going to pose as a member of Wu-Tang Clan, I'm just assuming somebody looks like somebody, right? This was happening in Atlanta, Georgia, by the way. Not in Shaolin, but in Atlanta, Georgia. This is also on hiphopdx.com, so you can check it out. Here's some details for y'all. A group of men posing as members of the Wu-Tang Clan have been accused of scamming a few luxury hotels out of roughly $100,000. According to WSB-TV Atlanta, the men were driving around in a white Rolls-Royce Phantom, pretending to belong to the notorious hip-hop collective. A criminal complaint filed this week in U.S. District Court in Atlanta says Aaron Barnes Burpo and another man claimed to be the entertainment firm Rock Nation and Wu-Tang. Atlanta Properties, the Georgian Terrace Hotel. My bad for butchering that. This is the White Henny. And Hyatt Regency said they walked out on 2 tabs worth $45,000 and $39,000. I'm looking at the photos, right? One dude looks like DJ Premier. The other dude looks like Dennis Rodman or R-Truth or something. None of them look like Wu-Tang Clan. That's the point. Look like no one in Wu-Tang Clan. I just don't know. Well, no, I know the sad truth. I know it. I know what it is, right? I'm not a racist. There are white people who listen to this podcast. And I'm not saying everyone's like this, because they are white hip hop fans. We know this, right? We know this. Who can easily say, yo, that's the RZA. That's the Jizza. Inspector Deck, U-God Killer, Ghostface Killer. There are people that know. But a luxury hotel like this makes me think whoever booked these dudes just believed that they were with the Wu-Tang Clan because they seemed to have money and they were black. And they said so. Because I don't know how you look unless they was like, yo, Ghostface is in the car, he needs a room. That's the only thing I could think of. This has to be, from both ends, this has to be the dumbest story I've heard in 2020 so far. It's funny. It's also crazy, and it's like, look, I know how they got caught. I can tell you how they got caught. Because the hip hop fan, whether he be black or white, came out and say, Nick, that ain't Jizza. That is not Raekwon. That is Barnes Burpo, or whatever his name is. Terrible. So if you out there trying to pretend you somebody, because we've seen it all the time, to get a little fame, to get a little money, get a life. That's going to do it for me for this week. You can follow me on social media. That's Twitter and Instagram at Vegas World INC. And please know that this podcast is available wherever you listen to podcasts. All you have to do is type in the little mystery box there, the little magnifying glass. Type in the words Hip Hop Now Podcast. Hit that subscribe button and you'll be locked into weekly content and on-demand content from years past. Just all the hip hop and perspectives and talk you can get. Until next time, y'all. I am not a critic. I'm a fan. Peace.
Drop it on the random.